Right, so I'm just at work and I've just had these two things delivered. A couple of old AutoTrader magazines. Now, we've got one from July 1993, that one. They're both from the Yorkshire and Humberside area. And this one's from April 1997. So I was on eBay a couple of days ago and I thought, do you know what I really want? I want an old AutoTrader magazine because you just can't get them anymore. AutoTrader used to just be this. It was never a website. Obviously back in the day it was never a website. It was just a magazine that they used to go out. They literally used to go out and take photos of your car. They come to your house with a camera, take photos of your car, take the photos back to their offices and then print them all in a magazine, and then deliver magazines or sell magazines in local shops and newsagents around the whole country. So it was a serious setup, a lot different to how it is nowadays. And I've got these two magazines. I paid, like, there's a couple on there for like 100 quid each, but I got these two for £60, about 60 quid delivered for the pair. So they're a lot of money really, but I was just so curious to see what's inside, what they look like and stuff. So like I said, they've just been delivered this morning, and as I had a flick through, I've seen some of the cars that are in it, and I thought, there's just so many cool old cars in it. Obviously the prices is what shocked me the most, but it's unreal how things have changed, and I won't go into too much detail yet, but what I'll do is I'll put them on the side, we'll have a little flick through, and I think what we'll do is we'll start off with the later one, we'll start off with the 1997 book, and we'll just see what stands out the most to me. And I'm sure that a lot of you will see some of these and think, well, see some cars in here and be like, oh look at that car, look at that car. I'm going to struggle to talk about every single car of them, but I'll just literally talk about the ones that stand out the most to me, alright? Here it is, 27th of March to April, 2nd of April 1997, okay? So let's have a little flick through. In 1997, by the way, I was 10 years old, I was born in 1987. I'm not afraid to share my age with you. The new Transit came out, look at that, the new Transit. 1997 Transit, so that would have been a facelift Smiley Transit. I think they come out a bit earlier than that, probably like 1996, a year before or something. But lots of Fords, lots of Vauxhalls in here. Let's get to some interesting cars. Oh, this is cool. So this dealer here, Whitkirk Performance Centre, they seem to like performance cars. And the first car at the top there is an 89, so that would have been 8 years old at the time. An 89 Renault 5 GT Turbo, and it's 3295 with 68,000 miles. Imagine owning that car today. They were like a seriously cool car back in the day, and that obviously they're all black and white by the way, so we can't see the colours, but you can see here metallic silver. So they list all the colours in every ad. But he's got a lot of cars. This particular dealer, I wonder if he's still about now. I wouldn't have a clue. He's got some serious cars. So we've got a Metro. That's not a Metro. It says a Metro GTI 16 valve there. But again, going back to the old-fashioned thing, they would have made like a typo or a print error. They would have sent the magazine out, and then that would have been too late. Then they wouldn't have been able to correct it. So this is a cool car, a Nova GSI. Now they were a great car back in the day. But you notice this dealer's got a lot of sports hatches. But that Nova GSI there. 91 H-Reg, it would have been 6 years old at the time, £5 grand for a Nova GSI. Citroen AX GT, they were a good bit of fun back in the day, built in 1991, that one, in red. Again, can't see the colour red because it's black and white, but 3395, and there's even another Renault 5 GT Turbo there. But bear in mind, these cars, you just don't see them anymore. I was at a car show recently, funny enough, and I did see one, but you never see them on the roads. They're rare as anything. Renault 5 GT Turbo. If you see one of them anywhere today, you want to be snapping them up. But notice as well, like this page or this section of the magazine is named sports cars. So we're at the sports car section, and they used to do that. They have like saloons and four-wheel drives and farm vehicles, and this is generally how they do it. Bargain cars under £1 grand as well. So that's how they sectioned out their magazine, their listings. So moving on, Nissan 200SX 5995 HPI clear. That's a cool car back in the day. Vauxhall Astra GSI, so that's 1992. So that's a 5-year-old Vauxhall Astra for £9,000. That seems like a hell of a lot of money to me. They were a nice car, don't get me wrong, but £9 grand. That was like, what's a 5-year-old Astra cost nowadays? if you went for to be fair, 5-year-old Astra VXR is going to be a lot more than that. So yeah, I suppose it is. Oh look, it is a fair price. Oh look, we've got a, I've just spotted this. It is a, focus, a Vauxhall Astra GTE, a C-Reg, 1986. It's a good few years old. Price 1,300 quid. Like, you'd happily buy that car today, wouldn't you? For 1,300 quid. They are a gem of a car. Probably my favourite Astra ever made. If I could get my hands on a tidy, low mileage, obviously for reasonable money, Vauxhall Astra GTE 16 valve for the old Digi Dash and stuff, that's a car I'd love to have as part of my collection one day. I'm a big fan of them. 150 brake horsepower, they're probably not too powerful. I think I'd probably be underwhelmed if I drove one today, but they are a serious car. Well, they were certainly a serious car back in the day. Let's see what else we can find. Corrado VR6, £12,985. Look at that. You can pick these up cheap nowadays. They're not like crazy money. They've not shot back up yet. So that's probably quite a good car to buy today if you was looking for something to invest in. That's a decent car. They drive really well as well. I think they're from memory, the Golf VR6 are a 2.8 V6, and I think these are a 2.9 V6. So that one, Dragon Green, 57,000 miles, nearly 13 grand. What else have we got? Fiesta Turbo. That is a rare car. I don't think I've ever even, I've definitely seen one, but for God knows how long. I can't remember the last time I saw one of them. That's a serious car. Moving on, still in the sports car category. 325 Sport BM, £6,000. That is a car that you would definitely want to have your hands on today. Pretty much every single one of these cars in both of these magazines you want to get your hands on. But a 325 Sport, they are a car that are rapidly going up. To get that car today in good condition, like that spec, that looks like a nice one. I don't know. At a guess, I would say in the region of £20,000. So that's a nice car. What colour is it? It is. Doesn't say what colour it is, but it looks like it could be. I don't know. How can I tell what colour? It looks like it could be red, but there's no way could I guess that because of the obvious fact that it's in black and white. So moving on, let's see what else we can find. Another turbo Fiesta. That's unreal. 225 brake horsepower in a Fiesta. They must have been brilliant cars. I've never been in one. I would love to go in one of them cars, see what they're like. They must be so quick. And back then, you think like an Astra GTE was 150 brake horsepower. Nova GTEs and Nova GSIs were probably about, I don't know, from memory, about 120 maybe, if that. For that to have been running at 225 horsepower, that's a serious car. No way, an old Cosworth. So here we've got an Escort RS Cosworth in Imperial Blue, 1995 N-Reg. It's got a private plate on it as well, doesn't say what plate it is. 3-year warranty that dealer's thrown in with that, so this is a dealer of some kind. 23,995, 24 grand. That's unreal. Like back in them days, that was a serious amount of money. And bear in mind, I'm pretty sure that back in the day of this magazine, car finance might have existed, but I'm pretty sure it didn't exist whatsoever. It was either go to the bank and get a loan, or you had to save your money. And if you wanted these types of cars, you had to literally save your money and go and pay for it in cash. So that's why high-end cars back then were really rare. So it's funny how much things have changed. Porsche 944, look at that for good value for money. So we just looked at a Cosworth for like over 20 grand. Porsche 944 here, like seriously, you could drive a Porsche for 7 grand, where we just saw an Astra GSI, like further back in the magazine, for more money. Now, a Porsche 944, surely that's good value for money. But one thing I would say about Porsche 944 is they never really took off. Like, you can pick these up even nowadays for reasonable money. I think back in the day I was never a big fan of them, but today I do think they look quite retro, and they're very different looking because they've got this big sort of bulging round glass rear window. Calibra Turbo, that was a serious car. 200 brake horsepower, 4-wheel drive. The turbos had 5 stud wheels instead of 4 studs because probably something to do with the four-wheel drive, but they were a great car. I remember my brother had one of them, and yeah, genuine shock when I went in that. Hold on, I thought that was a Quattro, Audi Coupe. But I think that's it. Let's just quick flick through before I go from this magazine to the next one. No, right, so we'll leave that to one side and we'll move on to Yorkshire and Humberside again, same area as that one. 8th to the 14th of July 1993, okay? Cars, bikes, boats, caravans, commercials and accessories. The price was 70 pence back then. Is that the same, 70p? So on this one here, when it focuses, the price for that one was £1. So they obviously put the prices up over time. So let's go. There's a guy on the front here, Simon Redford of Chesterfield. I wonder if Simon's still about today. I'm sure that hair's not about anymore. But anyway, Simon sold his car. He got a bottle of champagne from AutoTrader as a congratulations for being the quickest man to sell his car when his magazine come out, or one of the previous magazines come out. Let's have a look, see what we find in here. Transit van, I'm very interested in transit vans. 1987, the year I was born, D-Reg, Ford transit van, 1150 quid. So if you had that van today, it'd probably be worth that today still. Transit van 2.5, that's where I learned to drift. I learned to drift in one of them vans. Mine was a Smiley, it was a P-Reg, P808 JWJ actually the reg was. Back in my building days, I used to have a P-Reg Transit. They were honestly, rear-wheel drive, they are the best thing to drift. That is exactly how I got the hang of rear-wheel drive cars. Moving on, we've got a few boats. Don't want to look at boats, I'm not interested in boats. Cars under £1,000. Keep going. So you can see this magazine, the print is nowhere near as good quality. Every picture sort of looks overexposed. You can see that Escort there, the picture's just nowhere near as good. But overall layout's pretty much the same, but the print quality is nowhere near as good. Sports cars. Here straight away we've got another Vauxhall Astra GTE. This one is when it decides to focus. Come on, wake up and focus. Here we go. It's in silver, I thought it was white. Silver, which probably weren't a great colour. Wheel part X for a cheaper Ford Orion. That's funny. I'd much rather have a GTO over an Orion, but that's a 16 valve. It's 1,300 quid, 1,395. So that's a cool car. Something else I want to mention is in these days cars weren't as secure, I suppose, or that they were so easy to nick. So a lot of cars used to go missing. So people were really on edge about what cars to buy. And Astra GTs, I know they can literally be started with a screwdriver. So you can imagine if you owned a Vauxhall Astra GTE, you're probably worried that someone just come and drive it at night and just pinch it with a screwdriver. Now, that probably played a part on them depreciating so quickly because, you know, it was a big worry for any Astra GTE owner. In these days, a steering lock was a very common thing, and even nowadays they're very good because they do prevent people from nicking cars. But back then, everyone with a half decent car had a steering lock on their car. Just over here, we've got a couple of Jags. That's cool. So Jaguar was a really like a prestigious brand back in them days. 88 E-Reg, so bear in mind, what was this magazine again? 1993, so that was a 5-year-old car, 8.5 grand. They were an exceptional car. They were very light, but to be honest, I say exceptional. They just used to go wrong all the time, to be fair. But they were back in the 90s. The Jaguar XJS was a loved car. The Jaguar as a brand was a loved brand. People used to love Jaguar. A Mark 1 Astra GTE. So bear in mind, we just saw another Astra GTE for similar price. This one's 1295, 1.8 injection, gleaming white. That today would be worth a fortune. That would have been a great investment. A Ford Fiesta XR2. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've just bought one of these. £1,895 that is. 55,000 miles, 1987. So my car is almost identical to this, but it's white, this is black. Mine's also got 2 owners, and the one I've got has done 49,000 miles. So I'm quite proud of the one I've got. It's absolutely immaculate as well. Loads of Ford history, but this one here, back in the day, was 1895. My one it's probably got I was going to say a zero on the end. It's not quite worth as much as that, but it's a hell of a lot worth a hell of a lot more money than that. Oh right, so here you go. Here's a car I want to see. These cars. So we've looked at loads of like Fords, Peugeots, Vauxhalls. They're all really common. The odd BMW. We ain't seen many Audis. I don't think we've seen any Audis at all. Now this car, this is the original Quattro. I know nearly everyone watching this will know what that is, but they were a seriously good car. So they were a coupe, obviously. They'd done the Audi 80 coupe, and then they built the Audi UR Quattro, which was basically a road-going rally version of the current rally car that Audi used. And the Quattro system, obviously, where is my finger? There it is. Meaning full drive. That is the original Audi Quattro. So that's where this whole Quattro thing comes from. I've done a video on one of these cars as well, so go and check that out if you haven't seen it. That one there, B-Reg, 73,000 miles. It would have had a Digi Dash as well, 4795. That car today, at a guess, is worth in the region of about £30,000, maybe a bit more. To be fair, probably more than that, because that's seriously good mileage. I know if you'd have kept it, you would have used it over the years, but that car there, that is a special car. A Ford RS200, look, I bet that car's still around. £30,000 that was advertised for. A white 1993 two-seater high performance car. So that was basically a rally car, probably would have competed with the Audi UR Quattro. They were like, I don't think I ever saw one on the road in the 90s. I did actually see one recently on my way to a car show. I passed one on the road, so it must have been going to a car show itself, but they were like a famous car, you know, people loved them cars, and especially Ford owners and Ford enthusiasts. They were huge lovers of them cars. So you can imagine, I don't know what they're worth today, but probably, well, I would say undoubtedly more than £30,000. So, I think that's it. Mercedes 190e, we ain't seen any Mercs actually, have we? So, again, going back to the whole German thing, there weren't many German cars. So this dealer here, if it was a dealer, or is this just a German section, I can't work it out. But we've got like a VW Corrado, and a couple of Mercs, Merc 190, another 190e with like some nice wheels and that on it. BMs, like there was a handful of German cars, but it seemed like Ford and Vauxhall dominated the car market. There's plenty of Jags as well, and the odd German and Japanese car as well. So, right, so that's it. I'm done. I think the conclusion is, let me spin the camera back around so it's facing me. I think the summary of doing this video is, and I wasn't, like I said, it's an unplanned video. I just got the magazine and thought I'm going to do a little video showing everyone. I think you're probably just as curious as I was when I looked at the eBay ads. The summary for me is, what stood out for me the most is how many Fords and Vauxhalls there were. It's just like the magazine just seems dominated by Fords and Vauxhalls, and I think that's definitely why nowadays Fords and Vauxhalls seem to, or I don't know for definite, but I say definitely, I think in my opinion the reason why Fords and Vauxhalls have just shot up in value is because almost everyone in the country with a driving licence has at some stage owned a Ford or a Vauxhall, and if back then they were like the majority of the roads were covered by Fords and Vauxhalls, then that pretty much means that lots and lots of people back then owned one. So I think a lot of people can relate to them, a lot of people have owned them, and then people tend to buy old cars not just because of the car, because old cars generally are old and rubbish, but they buy cars for memories, you know. My first car was a Vauxhall Calibra, and I know they probably weren't the most desirable, demanded, or loved Vauxhall, but I'd buy another one today, you know, just for that memory. They're not a great car really. I think they're 150 brake horsepower. Not a brilliant car, not very fast, but you know, I had one as my first car, and I think if someone walked into my shop now and said, "Do you want to buy my Vauxhall Calibra off me, 16 valve, exactly the same as one you used to own," I'd definitely buy it. I'm done. I think I've talked enough about this subject, but there's loads of cars in there. I'd recommend, just for curiosity, hopefully I've satisfied your curiosity, but if I haven't fully satisfied your curiosity, there is a few of these for sale on eBay. I know 60 quid for a pair of magazines is crazy money, but I couldn't resist. So it's definitely something, probably something worth buying. So if you see one on eBay, give it a buy. I've probably just pushed everyone else's prices up now because everyone's going to be curious about buying one, but they are definitely worth buying. It's a nice, again, same thing, buying a memory. That's why I've done this. I bought a memory, and that for me, I remember going into the local shop and buying an AutoTrader magazine, and you can't do that nowadays. So thanks for watching. I'm guessing this video probably would have attracted a good few new people to my channel. So if you are new, hit subscribe, and if you like the video, hit a thumbs up. All right, bye.